After a hard week at work, I decided to get out of the city as usual. I have my own house in the woods. I picked up groceries, threw them in the trunk and set off. I arrived in the evening, got tired on the road and immediately went to bed. He fell asleep quickly and soundly. I was woken up by the sound of a car alarm. Well, I think maybe some kind of animal ran by. I looked out the window, made sure that there were no thieves, and turned off this terrible noise. I lay down again and just started to fall asleep when the alarm went off again. I pressed the button without getting up, and everything went quiet. But after 5 minutes, the alarm went off again. Well, just once. Okay, 2, but more. You start thinking about the bad. A little scared, I got up anyway, turned it off again, but did not lie down, but began to watch through the curtain who decided to play like that in the middle of the night. I was watching, and then I saw someone's shadow begin to appear in the bushes behind the light of the lantern. And the shadow was approaching the car, revealing its outlines. Something skinny, in a black raincoat with a hood, about 2 meters tall, with long thin arms, slowly approached the car, knocked on the wheel and walked back into the bushes. At that moment, I realized that it was time to start being afraid. Shaking with fear, I turned off the alarm and continued watching. Something came out of the bushes, approached the gate, threw its arm over it and removed the partition that held the gate doors closed. That thing was heading for the front door. Fear gripped me. Who is it? What does it want from me? Why doesn't it go away? I couldn't move. Goosebumps ran from my head to my feet and back, reverberating through my body with a massive tremor. My mouth went dry, and my thoughts began to paint scary pictures in a panic. Clenching my teeth and clenching my hands into fists, I came to my senses and ran up the stairs to the first floor as fast as I could, and only my hand reached out to press the switch to find something with which I could at least protect myself from the guest. I froze. He froze because it was looking out the window. Pressing his hands to the glass, he looked out to see if anyone was home or not. Then I realized. All these tricks with the car were in order to lure the victim outside. What for? I didn't want to know, and I don't want to know. But the fact is the fact. It's here, and it's looking for me. His breath began to fog up the window. And I was glad because I couldn't take my eyes off his face. Skin the color of ash, covered with wrinkles. Deep, small black eyes, like beads. Instead of a nose, there were 2 holes. My breathing was so heavy and hoarse that my own lungs were cramping. There were no lips, only 2 rows of sharp yellow teeth. I couldn't be seen, because I was in the back of the house. But it wasn't going to leave just like that. After standing at the window, it went to the door. A knock. There's another one behind him. Through the crack under the door, I saw it trying to put its fingers under the door. The handle began to jerk wildly up and down. And the sounds. It didn't sound like a human voice. It was an animal growl. You know, when you start taking a bone away from a dog and it growls in anger. Something similar to these sounds, only angrier and more guttural, was made by this creature. I knew that if it heard me, it wouldn't leave me alone and would find a way to get into the house. So I just lay down on the stairs and waited for it to end. Tears involuntarily flowed down my face, no matter how I held them back. My temples began to pound, so much so that it seemed like my soul was shaking. I blacked out. When I woke up, I immediately looked at the door. The door was in place. I've never been so happy. I got up from the steps and looked out the window. It was already day outside, and the sun was quite high in the sky. Without hesitation, I went upstairs, took the keys and went to the car without packing my things. When I went out the door, I saw his footprints on the ground. Proof that I'm not crazy. This was also indicated by the broken handle, scratches on the door and the boards from the gate, which were lying in the middle of the road. I jumped into the car and drove away from this village. On the way, I turned on the radio and heard that the bodies of 2 girls had been found in the area of this village in the morning. The corpses were mutilated and dumped into the swamp. After all, it found what it was looking for.